Ever think about how sometimes the most unexpected things can crack a case wide open?
Absolutely. It's incredible how a tiny detail can become the key to solving a mystery.
Like, what if we told you a dog helped put a murderer behind bars?
Oh, yeah, we've got a case like that today.
That's exactly what we're diving into. True crime stories with surprising twists, where the truth is often stranger than fiction.
We've got a few fascinating cases. One where a dog's behavior becomes a critical piece of evidence, another involving a property search in Texas that reveals way more than expected, and then we've got the unsettling discovery of a bunch of human skulls in New Mexico.
Let's start with that dog who helped solve a murder. This happened in Texas back in April 2023.
Okay, so picture this.
A burning storage container out in a field with an unidentifiable body inside.
Tragic, right?
Absolutely tragic. But here's where it gets interesting. There's a dog, Titan, who just refuses to leave the scene.
Even the day after, witnesses saw him hanging around. It's like he knew something was wrong.
So instead of just shooing Titan away, the police did something incredibly smart. They scanned his microchip.
And boom, the chip led them straight to Mandy Reynolds, the dog's owner.
When they went to her house, it was ransacked and her car was gone. Huge red flags.
Yeah, definitely not a good sign.
Then 2 days later, Mandy's car is spotted all the way in Kansas.
Being driven by her cousin, Derek.
And guess who's riding shotgun?
Titan. This poor dog seemingly witnessed the entire thing.
Talk about loyalty. Titan's unwavering devotion to Mandy became a pivotal part of the investigation. Not only did his microchip lead authorities to her, but his presence with Derek when Derek was buying all the supplies.
Like a storage container, a shovel, and a gas can. All caught on security footage at Walmart.
If Titan hadn't been there, it might have been much harder to connect Derek to the crime.
Absolutely. That dog was a key witness, in a way.
It's heartbreaking. Mandy was trying to help Derek get back on his feet, letting him stay at her place.
And this is how he repaid her kindness.
It's just brutal. The trial moved pretty quickly. The jury reached a guilty verdict in under an hour.
Wow, under an hour.
Yeah, just 40 minutes. Derek was sentenced to life, but he could be eligible for parole after 30 years.
These cases always have such a ripple effect. You see the division within the family during the trial and the pain for everyone who loved Mandy.
Absolutely. But there is a silver lining in all of this. Titan was adopted by Mandy's best friend.
Oh, that's good to hear. At least he found a good home after such a horrific experience.
Now, for our next case, we're staying in Texas, but this time it's a missing persons case. A mother, Mahogany Washington, and her 8-year-old son disappeared.
And get this, their family hadn't seen them since July 2022, a whole year before they were reported missing.
It makes you wonder why it took so long to report them missing.
It really highlights how complicated family dynamics can be. Sometimes there's hesitancy to involve law enforcement.
And unfortunately, sometimes people slip through the cracks. But when the police did get involved, their focus quickly shifted to the son's father.
Michael Dean Davis Jr., who lived on a property in Buffalo, Texas.
What they found on that property was just devastating,
They discovered Mahogany's remains, but Michael and the son were nowhere to be found.
adding another layer of mystery to this already tragic situation.
Thankfully, a tip led authorities to Michael's new location down in Laredo, Texas.
They staked out his house, and when he went to check his mail, they arrested him.
And even better, they found the son safe inside the house. But then things take another strange turn.
Before we get to that, I'm curious about Michael's motive. Any ideas on why he might have taken his son and vanished for so long?
That's what investigators are trying to figure out. There are a lot of unanswered questions, but the things they found in Michael's house in Laredo are definitely concerning.
Like what?
They found multiple rifles, a gas mask, and even an armored suit.
That's chilling. It sounds like he was planning something.
It definitely paints a disturbing picture, so we're left with a lot of unknowns.
We still don't know Mahogany's cause of death, and we don't have a clear motive for the killing.
Exactly. So many unanswered questions. These real-life cases don't always wrap up as neatly as they do in movies or TV shows.
Right. There are loose ends, ongoing investigations, and sometimes, even when justice is served, there's still that lingering feeling of unease.
Absolutely. Speaking of unease, let's move on to those skulls in New Mexico.
Okay, this one is truly bizarre. Imagine giving someone a ride and they start tossing what look like bone fragments out the window.
I can't even imagine. It'd be terrifying.
Luckily, the driver in this case did the right thing and reported it to the police.
Turns out those fragments were human bones.
And it gets even weirder. They searched the guy's house, a guy named Cecil, and what did they find?
A total of 20 human skulls.
20. That's not just a coincidence. Something very dark was definitely going on.
And to make it even creepier, the house already had a strange reputation. People in the area associated it with rumors of human remains.
Seriously. Like it was known as a haunted house or something.
Almost. It's straight out of a horror movie. Makes you wonder, was Cecil collecting those skulls, or is he living in some kind of creepy killer's den?
Right. It's like, which is worse? And then you add another layer to this story, and it gets even more intriguing. A woman named Angela McMains disappeared back in 2019 from the same street where those skulls were found.
And her disappearance was odd. She left behind all her belongings, even her medication.
She was a dedicated mother. She wouldn't just abandon her kids. So could those skulls be hers?
It's a possibility. Maybe this discovery will finally bring closure to her family after years of searching and not knowing.
It's a long shot, but it could happen.
Exactly. Sometimes the smallest details can make all the difference in solving a mystery.
And this case definitely has a lot of those little details.
The investigation is still going on, and the test results on those skulls will be key to figuring out what to do next. So many questions. How are these skulls connected? What was Cecil's role in all of this? And what other secrets might this town be hiding?
It's mind-boggling. It really makes you think, what other secrets are lurking beneath the surface in these seemingly ordinary towns?
You never know what you might find.
Okay, so for our last case, we're leaving the deserts of Texas and New Mexico. We're heading to the beaches of Hawaii. This one's a real head-scratcher. It'll definitely leave you wondering what really happened.
This case is about a 31-year-old woman, Hana Kobayashi, who was supposed to fly from her home in Maui to visit her family in New York City. Sounds pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah, a simple trip to see family. What could go wrong?
Well, she never made it to New York.
Oh no, what
Yes.
happened? Did something happen to her flight?
She had a connecting flight in Los Angeles. When she landed at LAX, she missed her connecting flight to New York. You'd think she'd just rebook for another day.
Right, that's what most people would do.
But a few days later, Hannah is spotted at a Nike event in LA, even posting about it on Instagram. So she was definitely alive and well at that point.
So she chose to skip her flight? Maybe she decided to have a little fun in LA before heading to New York.
That's what everyone thought at first. And get this, Hannah was texting her family and friends, updating them about her plans. She told her aunt she was going back to the airport to catch her flight to NYC, even mentioned needing help getting there.
That's a little strange.
Yeah.
If she was planning to go to New York all along, why does she need help getting back to the airport?
Right. And the texts only got weirder. She texted her mom that someone hacked her accounts and stole her identity, preventing her from flying.
Identity theft. Wow, that's scary.
She even said she was scared and couldn't go home. Then she texted a friend that she was tricked into giving away all her funds to someone she loved. These texts were all over the place.
So maybe she met someone in LA, fell for them, and got scammed. Was this spiritual awakening related to some sort of cult?
It's definitely possible. Hannah's family and friends said those texts didn't sound like her at all. They said she started calling people babe, which was totally out of character. It seemed like someone else was using her phone.
Okay, now that's creepy. So what happened next? Did they ever figure out who was sending those texts?
That's the unsettling part. Nobody knows. Hannah went back to LAX on November 11th, but never boarded a flight. Her phone went dead, and she basically vanished.
Wait, so we have a missed connecting flight, strange cryptic text messages, a possible romance scam, and now a complete disappearance. This is a lot to unpack.
It's like a puzzle with half the pieces missing. There are a few more pieces to this puzzle, though.
More. Okay, lay it on me.
Remember how Hannah booked this trip to New York with her ex-boyfriend before they broke up? Well, he was on that same flight from Maui to LA with her.
Wait, so her ex was with her this whole time?
Apparently so.
And he just let her wander off in LA? Something doesn't add up here.
It definitely seems suspicious. But according to Hannah's father, the ex has been cooperating with the police and the family.
So maybe it's just a bizarre coincidence.
Maybe. Or maybe there's more to the story that we don't know about.
Okay, my head is spinning. Any good news in all of this? Did they find any leads?
There was a possible break in the case about a week after Hannah disappeared. Her family posted on Facebook that they had seen security footage of her at a metro station in downtown LA.
That's something at least.
They said she appeared to be in bad condition and wasn't alone.
Bad condition? What does that even mean? Was she hurt? Who was she with? Every new detail just adds another mystery.
You said it. And unfortunately, that's all the information the family released. They didn't want to jeopardize the investigation, so we're left wondering.
So is Hannah still missing? Are the police still searching for her? Someone must have seen something.
The investigation is still ongoing. There haven't been any big updates, though. It's an agonizing wait for her loved ones. The not knowing, the silence, can be the hardest part.
That's heartbreaking. What can we do to help?
Spreading awareness is always a good thing. Sharing Hannah's story, keeping her name and face out there, can sometimes lead to that one tip that cracks the case open.
Right, that one little detail someone remembers.
Exactly. If anyone out there knows anything, no matter how small or insignificant it might seem, please contact the authorities.
Absolutely. Someone out there knows something. Hopefully they come forward and help bring Hannah home.
Hopefully.
It's a reminder that we can never be too careful these days.
You're right. And it's not just about our own safety, but being aware of others who might be vulnerable too. Like, remember Mandy's dog, Titan?
Yeah, what happened to him?
He was adopted by Mandy's best friend. He's doing great, living in a loving home.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear.
It's a small victory, after such a horrible tragedy. But it's a reminder that even in those dark times, there's still hope and compassion.
It is. It speaks to the resilience of animals and the kindness of people who open their homes to creatures in need.
It also makes you think about that incredible bond between humans and animals. Don't forget, Titan's loyalty was a huge part of bringing Mandy's killer to justice.
Right, his behavior gave those crucial clues.
Exactly.
These cases have been fascinating and unsettling. We've seen how a dog's loyalty can help solve a murder, how a property search can uncover a dark secret, and how a pile of bones could maybe solve a years-long mystery.
And even though we might never have all the answers in some of these cases, they really highlight the complexities of human nature. It's a reminder to stay vigilant, ask questions, and never take things for granted.
We've talked about some truly disturbing things today: betrayal, deceit, and violence. And we're left with so many questions.
Yeah, but even amidst all the darkness, there are also stories of resilience, hope, and people fighting for justice.
Absolutely.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with this. What mysteries, big or small, might be hidden in plain sight in your own town? What stories are waiting to be told? What truths are waiting to be discovered?
It's a good question.
Stay curious, keep your eyes and ears open, and never underestimate the power of just paying attention and thinking critically.
And if you have any theories about these cases, we'd love to hear them. Share your thoughts with us.
Yeah, let us know.
And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive into the strange and surprising. Until then, stay curious and stay safe out there.